During this video about Adobe Experience Design, we are going to talk about assets into Adobe XD. So we are going to see what they are, how to find them into Adobe XD, and how to use them. And we are also going to import some raster graphics into the work area of Adobe Experience Design. In the previous video, we talked about vector graphics and how to import them into Adobe Experience Design. We also saw what kind of files, what kind of formats we can import into Adobe XD. And we also saw that if we have a file with a format different from the ones supported by Adobe XD, we can convert it on sites like, for example, Cloud Convert that we used in the previous video. Also, we already know the main difference between vector graphics and raster graphics. In fact, as we saw, when we change the dimensions of a vector graphic, it will not lose its quality, but when we do the same with a raster graphic, it will lose at a certain point its quality. This is because they are made of pixels, which is their main characteristic. So, if you're asking if we can convert a vector graphic into a raster graphic, the answer is yes. And to do this, you just have to save your vector graphic, which has a format like EPS, SVG, AI, or CAD, into a format of an image. So, for example, you can change an SVG onto a JPEG or a PNG, which are some of the common formats for the images. And if you're asking if you can do the opposite, so if you can change a raster graphic into a vector graphic, the answer is also yes, but you will lose some quality. This is because since the raster graphics are made of pixels, you can change them into vectors with some tracing tools. So it will trace the pixels and convert them into vectors. But if we have an image with a lot of details, you will not have the same quality. So you can do this, but you have to be careful on what image you choose and also on what is the result that you want to have. So now let's try to create an artboard as we did in the previous videos. So we can click on Artboard and we can align it with the smart guides. And now we will create an ellipse. You can click on this icon or also click on your keyboard to the letter E. So we are going to create a circle, and to do this you'll just have to put the same dimensions for width and length. So we can choose 90 for the width and 90 for the height. And we can change the name of this object, for example, circle image. In fact, we are going to import an image into the circle. So let's see, first of all, how we can import a raster graphic into Adobe XD. So we can find our folder with the image that we want to put into our work area. For example, this landscape, and we can press and drag our image. In fact, we have our image right here. But how can we import the image right into this circle? It works the same way. You'll just have to press and drag your image into the circle. So it's pretty easy, and you can see that the image is adapted to the circle automatically. So, of course, you can change this object, so the image will also adapt when you change the object. And of course, if you double click on the image, you can change its position and you can scale it. And some of the other things that you can do is, for example, to rotate your image, your circle. For example, we write the rotation that we want, and as we can see from here, it has rotated, and we can also do it from these sides and also change it from here. We can also reflect and flip our images in a vertical way or in a horizontal way as we please. And we can also have some cool effects for our images. So of course, this is not a program to edit your images, but of course you can do some changes from here, but also you can use Adobe Photoshop, which is the perfect program to edit your images. And of Adobe Photoshop, we also have the tutorial into our channel. And of course, you can scroll with your mouse onto the modes and play a little with all of these effects. So we can also create, for example, another ellipse, and we can put the same image, and if we select the two circles, the two images, we can, with the multiply mode, we can see both pictures into one. So this is like the blend mode. As we can see, we can move them. Of course, we can change their dimensions when we want. And now that we saw these tools that we have with raster images, we will talk about assets. So the assets are the resources of our document. So these are the elements that are in our interface, in our document. So if we have a certain color, a certain font, or even more complex elements, we can find them, we can put them and find them into the assets. So what you are going to do is click on this icon, and here we are onto the document assets, and we can see the colors saved, if there's any color saved, or the components. For example, we can also see it as a list or as a grid, and we can, for example, drag this component, and of course we will have it in our work area, and we can change it and use it whenever we want. Of course, if we have, for example, a color that we want to save, we can click on this color, so on this rectangle probably. So we can click, we can see that there's a color, and we can go to color and press plus. And we have the codes of the color and also the opacity of this certain color. And we can do it with every color that we have here. The same thing with fonts and with the character styles and the videos. So, of course, you can also go to the libraries. So you can go to File and to Manage Libraries. And to have access to the libraries. You will have to have your internet connection on and also an Adobe Creative Cloud account. And now that we talked about the raster images and about the assets, this is all for this video. Thank you for watching this tutorial about Adobe Experience Design. If you have any questions, you can ask them below this video in the comments. I invite you to see the other tutorial in our channel. Thank you again.